attention. So we're going to go backwards to one-step equations, just simple adding and subtracting. So I'm going to zoom in so we can see it really good. And I'm going to do one side, okay? And I'm going to go over some other stuff too. All right, so we all have the same paper in front of us. Yes? It says one-step equations, add or subtract, right? Why do you have two? That's from when you were absent. I have to sneeze. Please hold. All right. Yeah, I think I'm getting sick. I hope not. So I'm going to try and fight this off. All right. So here's what we need to know, okay? And I'm going to create and give you guys a script, okay? That's going to be up there for you to follow. And the first thing we need to know that our goal, here's your goal. You're going to write your goal up here. And you're going to write this in your notes as well, okay? So the goal is to isolate the variable. Okay, so I want you guys to write that down. The goal is to isolate the variable. And I'll explain what that means. So you guys need to take out your notes and copy down the goal. Okay, so my goal to isolate the variable means that I want this letter. Okay, this is my variable. I want it all by itself on the left side. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line down here, and I'm going to think of this problem as a scale. Louder. So I want you guys to draw a line, vertical line, straight down that center over the equal sign, okay? So I want you to think of it as a scale, okay? So we want to keep this balanced. So whatever I do on one side of my line, I have to do to the other side too, okay? If I look at this problem, it says r minus 9 equals negative 11. This is a balanced problem. So if I want my mission, my goal, to have r by itself, I have to move this minus 9, okay? So in order to move this minus 9, I need to, step 1, add the opposite. Okay, so step 1 of your goal to isolate the variable is to add the opposite. Okay, so I have a minus 9 here. So what is the opposite of minus 9? Positive 9. So I wanted to add the opposite, so I'm going to say plus 9. And I'm going to do plus 9 over here. Okay? So negative 9 plus 9 becomes 0. And I bring down my r and my equal sign. No. My 0 becomes 0. 0 is a non-number, so I don't need to write it. Okay? So I'm going to use that column method that we started with, our integers. Here's my plus and here's my minus, right? So this is a negative 11, so I'm going to put this over here. This is a positive 9. I'm going to bring it over here. What number is smaller? So I'm going to subtract 9, right? So 11 minus 9 is what? 2, right? What side is it on? So that means my answer is going to be a negative 2. Got it? Okay? To negative 2. It's not 2. It's negative 2. We need to make sure that when we do this, we get our signs right. So this step method, this column method that we did a while back, I want you to use it for every problem. You hear me? For how many problems? Every problem. So let's go ahead and let's look at number 3. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw my line down the center. And you know what? I can even do my scale of my column. I'm ready to solve this problem. Okay? So I need to look at this as balanced. I want x by itself, right? My goal is to isolate that variable, but I have a minus 6 here. So what is the opposite of minus 6? Plus 6. So I'm going to do plus 6 here, And I'm going to do plus 6 on the other side. Okay, this becomes 0, non-number. That's my goal, to make that 0. So x is going to equal what? I have to do this, right? So I have a negative 5 and a positive 6. So what's my bigger number? 6. So I'm going to subtract 5. That becomes 0. Subtract 5, right? 6 minus 5 is 1. What side is it on? So x is going to be positive 1. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We're gonna keep doing some more examples, and then I'm gonna give you a lot of time to work on it. There's a lot of practice today. Lot of practice. So I'm gonna give you plenty of time in class to do this, okay? So those both have been subtraction, right? So let's go ahead and look at number 7 right now. Let's look at number 7. Justin. Let's look at number 7. I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to make my column. Everybody have that done? Okay. This one, oh look, it's a little confusing, but not really. Why is it confusing? Did they switch the order here? Yeah, but that still says minus 3. And what is the opposite of minus 3? Positive 3, right? So I'm still going to do plus 3 to both sides. This is still going to be 0. And now I have my v to bring down all by itself with my equal sign. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our numbers in our columns. Negative 5 goes under the negative, and 3 goes under the positive, right? Which one's bigger? So I'm going to subtract 3 then, because 3 is the smaller one. That becomes 0. What's 5 minus 3? 2. What side is it on? So my answer is now negative 2. Here. It used to be one big eraser. Got it? All right. Okay, so all of these are positive. Let's go ahead and flip your paper over. And let's start with number 17. Okay, number 17. I have k plus 10 equals 16. So I'm going to do my vertical line and create my balance. Remember, that's my scale. And then over here, I'm going to do my column, plus and minus. So I'm ready to solve this problem. Okay, so what's my goal again? What's my goal? Yeah, what did I make you guys write? Isolate the variable, right? And what's step 1? Add the opposite. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, so I want k by itself, but I have this plus 10. So what is the opposite of plus 10? So this time, instead of adding it, I'm going to subtract 10. And I'm going to subtract 10. Okay, has the same effect. This is still 0. That's my goal, to make this 0. So now I have k is going to be equal to 16 minus 10. 16 is my positive. I'm going to put it on this side. 10 is my negative. I'm going to put it on the negative side. What number is smaller? So I'm going to subtract 10. 16 minus 10 gives me, what side is it on? So my answer is positive 6. So far, so good? What? I'm not going anywhere. All right, we good so far? Let's do another one. Let's do number 23. Let's look at 23. I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to make my column. Okay. Is that one positive or negative? But there's no plus in front of it. How do I know that it's positive? Because if it does not have a minus sign in front of it, the number is always going to be positive. So that since this is a positive 1, what would the opposite be? So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Right? Because my goal is to make this to equal 0. That equals 0. And that gives me m all by itself. I have a positive 8 and a negative 1. 1 is my smaller number, right? So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. 8 minus 1 is what? 7. What side is it on? So that makes it a positive 7. You guys ready to go off on your own, or do you want me to do another one? I'll tell you what. You guys do 21, and then we'll check it. Are you ready? So 21, remember we want to do our vertical line, and then we want to create our column. Jordan? So what am I going to do to the 7? Which would be, so I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Good. Bring down my A. That was my goal, to have that A all by itself. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these guys where they belong. 12 is positive, 7 is negative. What number's smaller? 7. So I'm going to subtract 7. 12 minus 7 is, what side is it on? Positive. So my answer is positive 5. How many of you guys got it right? Excellent. You guys are ready to go.